Alright, in this video, we are going to see how we can recreate this landscape setup just using few nodes within SOPs. And we are going to use the HeightField scatter for this. This is the simplest way that you can scatter objects on your terrain. So that's why I kept it in the basic lesson. Let's get started. So I'll just go over these nodes first before we recreate them, so that you have some understanding about it. So we have a basic height field node which just creates this plain height field. So this is not a geometry, this is a 2D volume. So here we have the basic height field, and then I just added some noise to it. So using the height field noise SOP, and then we use a height field clip to clip everything that is below the ground. So we can set the ground level using the height field clip, or you can also use the like invert it to clip the height of the mountains, like create a flat top of mountains. So in this case I used that to create the ground, and then you can I just used the mask clear just to get rid of this red visualization. And then here you can see I used a SOP called HeightField mask by feature, and this SOP is very important in this case because it is where we define where we want to scatter the trees. So wherever this is red, we will be seeing points scattered, and wherever this is not red, that part is going to be empty. So here we have a height and mask primitive. So these two primitives are the most important in this one. So this is the main node for that, the height field scatter node. So it takes a height input and a mask input. So in this case we have both of the inputs coming from the same node, since we have both of them here. If you have a separate mask, you can connect that as well, but here I just connected both of them here. So after connecting this, we can see this node scatters points only wherever we isolated the mask, and that's how we got the points. And here I have a simple tree here that is using the labs quick tree, and I just copied that using the copy to points, so that we got something like this. And here I just cleared the mask and merged it with the trees. Also I created a surface and just transformed it up to create this water. So that's how I created this landscape. So you can use the same method to create a basic landscape, and then you can add more and more layers of trees, rocks and grass, etc. This is how you can create a simple landscape using the height field nodes. So let's see a bit of detail about the height field scatter. So let's copy the height field, and I'll also copy the height field noise, so we get something similar. So yeah, this is let's say this is our height field. So to scatter objects on height field, we can use the height field scatter. As I said earlier, you can connect this here, and as you can see, it just scatters everywhere. So that's why we need some mask to control the scatter. Like wherever we want, we just want to control the points, like wherever we want to scatter. So there are like many different ways to create the mask. One of the easiest way is to use the height field mask by feature. So this as the name suggests, it takes the features of the incoming height field and modify that to create mask. There are like quite a few things. The basic one is the height. So you can define a height in here and create mask. So for anything that is below 20 meters and above 0 meters, it's going to create the mask. So if I increase that, you can see it just adjusts itself. And you can also go below 0 like this if your terrain is going under 0. So let's clip our geometry to create the flat plane. So let's use HeightField clip. Yeah. And here you can disable the max clip and enable the min clip so that it clips below this value. So here it is 0, so everything is below 0 is clipped, and it creates a flat ground. And to get rid of this red visualization, you can use mask clear. That can clear your mask, and now you can create your new mask based on this HeightField mask by feature node. So let's say I want to have the trees only on these slopey areas. So to do that, you can disable the height mask and enable the slope mask. So it creates trees only where the hill is slopey. So you can adjust the amount of slopiness here using this RAM, and also you can use these min slope and max slope angles. Okay, let's say that's what I wanted. And you can also see there are like few other options. For example, mask by direction. You can mask using the direction. Like for example, let's say wind is blowing in this side, and you want to add snow based on the wind direction. You can do that using the mask direction. And you can also use mask by occlusion to let's disable this, to create mask by basically occlusion. Wherever there is geometry which is closer to each other, it will create darker values. So you can see the peaks are getting picked up in the mask. You can also invert this to get different kind of reactions. You can play around with this to get something useful. For now, we'll just use the slope mask. That is enough. And yeah, so we have a mask now, and we have a HeightField. We can connect the mask to the second input. Everything is coming from the same node, so we can just connect it like that and go to the HeightField scatter. By default, it just scatters because I copied it. Let's create a new one, HeightField scatter. So yeah, it scatters everywhere, but as soon as I connect the mask, you can see it scatters only on the masked areas. And there are like few options here, and there is a third input here, which is which looks like pretty useful. Let's see like what it does. Currently there is a lot of points. There are like few different ways that you can scatter. These are different methods. Let's use the default method for now. So we can see there is something called coverage. So if you increase the coverage, we are going to get more points. I want to reduce it for trying few things. So let's reduce it. Yeah, now we have very less number of points. And now instead of visualizing them as points, we can actually directly copy the objects to it using the same node, using the third input. Let's say I want to copy these rubber toys over the terrain. I'll just disable the shader, and I'll use a pack so that it is a bit efficient. Otherwise, my system is going to crash. So yeah, this is the rubber toy. So let's connect this to the HeightField scatter. And yeah, as soon as I did that, you can see everywhere there are rubber toys, and it is scattered all around. This is fine, but when it comes to rendering, like this may not be very efficient. You can't really control a lot of things using this input. You can just use it to visualize basically, just to see how it looks. And like adjust based on that. This red color is like being too harsh. Let's clear the mask again. Yeah, it's much better. So yeah, currently you can see these rubber toys are oriented based on the slope of the hill. So like let's say we want to instance trees as what I did here. I'll copy the tree here. So we have a basic tree. I'll connect this to the third input. Let's see what it gives. So you can see the trees are like um, oriented kind of weirdly, like it grows in slanting direction. So for example, take this one. Trees usually grow straight in y-axis, right? Like it doesn't grow sideways like this. So usually if we are using the regular scattering methods like what we have discussed so far, we have to create scattering orientation and p-scale attributes separately using the attributes. But with this node, there are like few controls that you can use to fix this. For example, you can see match normals with terrain. So this is the parameter that is making it to grow sideways. If you disable it, you can see the trees are now oriented properly. They are all properly oriented, like facing upwards, growing upwards instead of sideways. So I think that's going to be very useful. And then we have some randomization options as well. So obviously every tree doesn't grow as straight like this. There maybe have like slight angle in the direction. So you can use the randomize up to kind of add that a little bit. You should not go too high with this value. It can be like very subtle, like 2 or like 3 maximum. Yeah, 5 is also fine. Yeah, it looks fine as long as it looks good. It's fine. So yeah, that is one thing. And then we have randomize yaw, which is like rotation around the axis, around the up axis. So let's do that. You can put a high number here because it will make the tree to rotate 360-degree. Yeah, that creates more randomness. So that's how you can randomize the rotation using this HeightField scatter node. And then you can also like disable this to see how it looks. So yeah, if I disable the randomization, you can see the difference. So what it does is it's kind of making the facing direction that flows along the terrain. So let's take this rubber toy as an example, so it's more apparent. So if I disable this, it looks like everything is facing on the sideways. If I enable this, so everything is going to the front axis is going to be aligned with the slope. So wherever I go, yeah, the front axis is kind of aligned with the slope. So if the slope is going in this direction, the front is going to face towards that. So that's this thing. So if I disable it, it's going in random direction. So I think it can be kept enabled. That's okay to be enabled. That works. Let's connect this back to the tree. And yeah, we have something like this. I'll go back to my camera view. So we have some trees over there. I want some trees over here as well. So to do that, let's go to the HeightField mask by feature. So we can see some subtle red here, but I want more. So let's decrease the slope. Let's see if that scatters something. Yeah, like 1 or 2 is appearing. Yeah, you can play with this parameters to kind of add more trees using the slope. And now you can increase the coverage to get more trees. Yeah, here we go. Let's put 0.5. And yeah, you can adjust this to get rid of the trees in the flatter areas. Yeah, we got something like this. Yeah, this is something similar to what we had in the preview. So yeah, that's how you can create the trees. But there is one catch, like since everything is coming from the same node, the terrain, everything, the trees and all is coming in the same node, it may be difficult to like render this. Also, it's hard to kind of vary the trees. Like currently I'm just copying one tree. You may need to have separate height field scatters to kind of randomize the tree object. So instead of doing this, what we can do is, instead of connecting this, we just have the points. But since we have adjusted the orientation and all using the preview, that's still going to be there in the point data. You don't have to uh, I mean, that orientation is still preserved. It's not going to go anywhere since we are not using this. The points will store that attribute. So if we use copy to points, so it's still going to obey that orientation. So yeah, that's how you can just extract the points from it and use copy to points to copy the trees. Or like you can have multiple trees here, and you can have different variations assigned as an attribute that can be like copied into copied to using the copy to point sop. That can be useful. Or also you can directly instance, instead of using the copy to points, you can directly instance the trees over these points. That is also very efficient. Yeah, let's copy to points. Yeah, basically that's how the scatter height field scatter works. If you want to have more details about this and like more terrain workflows, let me know in the comment section. I'll drop more tutorials about how you can use how you can create environments using these tools. Cool. I hope that is pretty useful. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.